Hey, how's it going, Sean? Sorry, I was almost a little late there. So, yeah, just sitting here. Got the fireplace going again. But, yeah. So, anyway. Oh, there's my light back there. I was like, what the heck's the blue? So, anyway, we're going to do this one a little more professional. So, yeah. So, let's see. What were we going to talk about today? I was going to talk about how am I able to afford this while working? Paying with low paying jobs. And the things I've learned on my trip. So, okay. Well, to start with, how am I able to afford living on my boat while working a low paying job and all? It's pretty simple. You keep working and you cut your overhead expenses way down. I outfitted my boat before I left as best I could. So I left with a heavier duty anchor. I had another boat previous to this. I was redoing Felicity, and a boat previous to that was my other sailboat. Those two never made it off the hard because I ended up getting rid of the one for Felicity, which was a lot better shape, even though she needed keel work. And I got rid of Felicity for this one, which was pretty much ready to go with a friend of mine. Turns out she did need a lot. She did give me about a year's worth of good service, though. I mean, she's floating. She hasn't let me down, really. Had to do repairs on her. She gave me a rough time. Sailing wise, my inexperience combined with the boats, a few quirks and everything, didn't help. So, getting her to sails was a little bit rough for me. But, could never really get her going the way I wanted to get her going. And probably what I've found out is because I was running with worn out sails, missized sails, that kind of thing. Um, and my inexperience didn't help anything at all. That was, the biggest thing. And I also found out what I learned sailing was one of those lessons that basically down the ICW and all, it is not what I would thought it was for sailing because there's a lot of motoring as well if you're in the ICW. And because I couldn't seem to get things going with my boat properly, I kept staying in the ICW just in case I had issues. And that is actually a little bit harder to sail with. Um, just going in and around the channels till you get to the south from basically bottom of the Chesapeake and Norfolk down in through Georgia and get into Florida where it's pretty much a straight shot. Uh, very decent sailing, just a little zigzagging, but a lot of the other was winding through fields, back country. Beautiful sail, beautiful trip. But the engine was better because a lot of times I was going into the wind. Um, Crosswinds, it just wouldn't have been ideal to sail with unless I was trying to go east to west and going south. But, go around a turn a mile down the way, I didn't want to keep opening and closing my sails. So I motored. And that's one thing I learned with the ICW as well. And also learned how coming down the ICW itself, there's not a lot of places to stop your boat compared to a power boat. That would be good for overnight, good size. You could get decent swing and all because I run the 7-to-1 scope. So that was an experience too. Um, that was a good one though. I mean, really enjoyed it. Cleared the bridge down in the Okeechobee Swamp by about a foot and a half. So yeah, but still cleared it. So that was part of it. But yeah, working the jobs though. So basically, I was worked, just came down, got a job at McDonald's, didn't end too well. Did a CSR job, but I couldn't really get sales on that. So, I was a short term. And I was working here for the Family Dollar, which was also short term because it was building, reconstruction of the stores, rebuilding the stores. And they got done. We got done with that. They just didn't have room for us all. So, a lot of the employees were ones helping in the build too. So, yeah, that's just how that went. So yeah, one thing I learned down here though was it's really not as easy as you would think it is. It was okay when I was in the marina and I was on the mooring ball because then I had access to the marina down here with the mooring ball to put my dinghy, go to work and everything. keep my bike at and all. Bike's gone and got hit. I got hit on it. My other bike has a mess up at the bike shop, and my mountain bike I had's gone. So yeah, had that pretty nice Schwinn, but I got all messed up when I got hit, and things got realigned, and now things fit better. you know, less pain. So, but yeah, that's what I ended up having with that. Just things kind of fell apart for me after that. I wasn't working for a little bit. I had a concussion. About 2 weeks, I couldn't even repeat my lines straight. I tried sailing again, and I don't know if it's because it's my third concussion in my life, whether or not, I got hurt in my head. Things don't seem to work straight for me right now. I sail okay, I pilot my boat okay and all, but it's just when I'm trying to sail the boat, I get confused quickly, and I've been having problems, and I've also been having health problems running my boat. So that's why I'm choosing to go to a different boat. It's just going to be easier for me. It's going to be better in the long run. Back to a power boat, less stressful to operate. Um, you know, doesn't require as much physical with it. And if I end up getting sick like I do in summer and all, it'll be a lot better as well because I'll be able to have the AC running and all when I'm running the engine. Heat problems that I used to get if they return again this year. But yeah, so pretty much it's just biggest thing is the dinghy, where to do with it. And you can trust people, but you can only trust them so much. Because what you have down here is a lot of people think you can just leave a dinghy anywhere, which is not true. You have to make sure the access is a public access. You don't want to be trespassing across people's land because you do not have right of way down here. On anything, period, from a boat to the water, there's no right of way. It's not like you own a house and you have right of way from your neighbor's property. That's part of your own property. So having a place you could put the dinghy that meets the local regulations as well as the federal, regulations and all. Just anchoring my dinghy near shore is one thing I do in a little cutout cove. And the place I go to, the way Florida laws work, I found out, is the mean high water mark is considered part of the bay when it's connected to the bay and all, and down. So I anchor my boat so it stays off the property that's adjoined to it, but it just floats right offshore in about ankle deep water. And, sometimes it's on the dry, but as long as it's at that mean high water mark or, lower, it's good because that's still part of the bay. And where I get out is part of the bay. I had plans to use my dinghy at boat ramps, and what I was going to do is take my bicycle and use a trailer hookup I have, and I was going to make a trailer that I could put my dinghy on, would connect to my dinghy, and pull it behind me like a vehicle with a couple lights and triangle on it, like a trailer to go to work and all. That way I could use public boat ramps and, the private boat ramps here you pay to use. And it wouldn't pose a problem because it goes with you when you're riding. It's just riding down the side of the road with that, trying not to get hit in Florida. Yeah, well, I got hit crossing the street. The guy was stopped, saw a place hole open up and hit the throttle, never turned his head. How do I know? Because I was watching him, because I was always worried when I cross the street, make sure nothing's coming, and I turn and look at the person I'm crossing in front of in case they would do what he did. I couldn't react fast enough. So yeah, he floored it into me with a 2023 F-150. Sent me flying about 20 feet. So, it happens. Probably shouldn't talk about it because we're still working on that with the attorney. But yeah, that's what happened with me there. What are you gonna do? Welcome to Florida. So yeah, that kind of screwed everything up. Where it's been doing the dinghy access, but I try not to overstay my welcome either. I just go in when I need to go to work or need to get store food or anything like that. So I just don't go just to go play around on land, and walk around all the time. A lot of times I stay on the boat. It's okay. I'm used to trucking, being in my truck all the time. But yeah, you can easily afford though coming down and doing this. The thing is, though, you do need to follow all the regulations with that pump out, which works because the marina down here I'm next to has a free waste disposal. They also have water. You can come in. You're welcome to come in, fill your water tanks. So I do that every couple of weeks. Take care of all that. Trash disposal, they let me, even though I'm not staying in the marina, because I had stayed in the marina. They were kind enough to let me throw my garbage out because it's also a city marina. So that's just basically city public trash can that they let me use, because I checked with them before I did it. And it's just nice because that keeps me from having to worry about garbage piling up. So, and it also keeps it out of the bay, of course, which I wouldn't do. I wouldn't throw it in the bay. It's just not right. Wrecks it for everybody. So yeah, but that's what I've been doing is basically living on the hook here, waiting for this to get settled. I'm getting ready to leave here shortly because we're at the part now with, I did therapies and all that. I was supposed to get surgery on my right shoulder. I have a bucket tear, but I'd gotten about 85, 90% usable from the accident. So it still hurts me, messes with me sailing as well, but it's usable. I just have problems pushing things up over my head and everything. But that's what I do with that. Um, I really, if I had the surgery, I'd have to be off the boat for 3 months. The doctor didn't want to do it otherwise, and I have nowhere else to go down here, so I'm on my boat. Um, Thought about going back to Pennsylvania and redoing it and doing the surgery, my shoulder, but not an option. They want to do it down here and all. It's just, yeah. But I've got the use of my arm and everything. And one of the side effects is if I don't do the therapies right or something goes wrong with the surgery, even though it's a minor day surgery, it could mess up my arm for good, which would mess up my boating and everything else. And just living on my boat. If I ever want to go back trucking again, I wouldn't be able to do it. Climb up in the truck cab if I can't use that right arm very well. I could, but I mean, it still works now, so why mess it up worse? That's what I'm looking at right now. Still messed up. It's healing slow over time. But yeah, so basically, you come down to live on the boat. It's just basically being neighborly. You don't start trouble. Don't give problems to people. Like when you're walking, you go on land, somebody gets smart with you or something, just let them be. It's just their thing. You know, um, the big thing is you piss people off and you're leaving your boat behind. You're leaving your dinghy behind. It's gonna make people want to mess with you more. You know, and that's one thing we all know out here in the water is if you mess with one person's boat, somebody's gonna mess with you. That's how it goes. So everybody just keeps cool as much as they can. You get disagreements, but I just try to stick to myself mostly. Doesn't always work, but yeah. But really, have had no trouble. People have been great down here and all. Biggest thing is having your bills low enough to be able to handle. Because what I have, even with paying for the mooring ball, which has a 6 month limit, um, yeah, it looks like if the way I did the finances and all that, you come down, you work, say, a regular minimum wage job, and you're making down here like, 13, 12 bucks an hour. You can cover being in on a mooring ball and being in a marina working a 40-hour a week job and still have a little money left over so you're not starving to death. You'll have to save up for parts and all, but that's if you leave with the boat ready to go. So, yeah, that's just basically how it is. Yeah, my fireplace died again. Turned off and got hot. But, yeah, I mean, it's not hard to do at all. You don't have to have some really high-end paying job to do this. Biggest thing is having a place to leave your boat that, the anchorage and people don't mind it. And with the dinghy, what you're going to do when you get in with your dinghy, because you can't just leave it at a boat dock either. Boat docks down here have a 4 hour limit, so you can go in. They're meant for you to go in and do your work and all, do your stuff. But they also have some, anchorage and all this off of some of the public parks with the dinghies and all. But then you're just trusting everybody else. But it doesn't seem like the people on the water are the problem down here. Anytime there's people messing with stuff, it always seems to be people who live on land. So, oh, that's the biggest thing. Like I said, anywhere you go. I mean, But yeah, so that's kind of what I learned coming down here. It's not really hard to do. It's just keeping everything up and having a few bucks extra doesn't hurt. But you can easily live down on a boat. Like say in the marina and stuff, you get the mooring balls. Mine was $340 a month, so you had that. I had my boat insurance and all that on my girl. $300,000 limit, liability limit. But yeah, that's what they want to see down here, 300,000 to a half mil. But that was only costing me about a buck 67. Um, my boat on the way down gets me about 4 to 5 nautical miles to the gallon when I'm motoring with my sailboat, so that's good. But you know, of course, when I'm sailing, it doesn't really take anything except wear and tear on the sails. But yeah, it's been a little rough. It's always rough going to a new area. So, but I've been managing. I've been working on it, getting the hang of this. But yeah, I just need to get ahead with things, behind with some bills, other stuff I owe. But mainly support and stuff like that. So I'll get caught back up. That's no biggie. Not even if I got to go back trucking for a little while, get my CDL back. Try to anyway. Um, I'll figure something out. But yeah, it's really not hard to do that, especially if you can get a job like in a marina that I've been trying to do. A lot of the marinas, they don't really mind if you like row your dinghy to work because it's just like driving your car to work. Just check with them. Some are okay with it, some aren't. Depends the marina. I've also been looking into bridge tender jobs. That way service docks and stuff nearby, or I can anchor the boat nearby in the dinghy and keep an eye on that. Some of them have service docks at the bottom. I'm not sure if you can anchor them when you're tied up to them when you're working there or not, but I wouldn't see why not. But that's what I'd look into. Stuff that revolves around the boat makes it easier, that you can do. But you can always get jobs pretty much, well, just about anywhere they're hiring. I mean, even minimum wage jobs can pay to sail as long as you're frugal with your money and you left with a little bit ahead and had some spare gear, spare parts with you when you left. You can easily do this and not be starving and not be having all kinds of trouble where you have nothing. But it's just going to be a minimal existence. It will be. So you got to be prepared for that. But yeah, and nobody's in here, so I can't answer any questions. I wouldn't mind doing some question and answer, kind of deal, but nobody's in here. So yeah, but yeah, what I learned on my trip down here, it's just everything's not what you think it is with YouTube, with sailing. Sailing all the time and all, once you get on the open water, yeah, when the wind's there, yeah, oh yeah. But when you're sailing coastal or like down the East Coast ICW, it's a little different. It's more like lake sailing, inland sailing. Winds are less predictable. Things can happen on the different bays that you just wouldn't expect, or might not even be in the weather forecast. Might just say it's going to be a little wind that day, and you go out there and gusts get channeled down narrow. Or what happened to me on the way down, get a sudden gust that really kicked them out of nowhere that just happened. Wasn't predicted when I checked earlier. I didn't check my predictions tight enough probably, but kind of came up out of nowhere with the wave mix. Winter's a little unpredictable on the East Coast, so my fault too for going in December. But anyway, since it's just me, no, that's just my life for the day. So, well, hope it helped you out. Hope you enjoy it. Hey, you got any questions? Message me. I'll message you back. Just hit the comments here. If you liked it, hit the like button. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.